Michael Penix Jr. The name that will be unforgettable for Falcons fans moving forward. You know why? Because he was drafted 8th overall. That's why. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Michael Penix Jr. getting drafted by the Falcons despite signing Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million contract with $100 million fully guaranteed in March of 2024. The Falcons made the shocking move to draft Michael Penix Jr. as this move has confused many NFL fans, including myself. With Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons, it was assumed that they would focus their biggest needs on defense in the 2024 NFL Draft and not drafting a developmental quarterback at pick 8. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. Was drafting Michael Penix Jr. a smart or dumb decision by the Falcons? And to me, let's not overthink this answer, because obviously the answer to this question was it was absolutely a dumb decision by the Atlanta Falcons. Are you kidding me, Falcons? How dumb could you get? Why would you draft a quarterback with the number 8 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft when you already have a solid quarterback in Kirk Cousins? And not only is Kirk Cousins a solid quarterback, you're the team that signed Kirk Cousins to that contract anyways. It's not like you inherited Kirk Cousins from the previous regime or that Kirk Cousins has already been a long-time starter for the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons were the team that just signed Kirk Cousins just 2 months ago, and now they're drafting a quarterback to replace Kirk Cousins. I don't understand what the Atlanta Falcons are even trying to accomplish with this pick. And then I'm hearing that their general manager is talking about how Michael Penix is going to sit for 4 or 5 years. Are you kidding me? Michael Penix Jr. is already one of the oldest draft prospects that I've ever seen play at the quarterback position. He's already 24 years old, and you're talking about sitting him for 4 to 5 years? Because by that point, Michael Penix Jr. is going to be 28 or 29 years old by the time he becomes a starting quarterback in the NFL. And guess what happens? His rookie contract already runs out by that point. And I know some Michael Penix Jr. fanboys are probably going to tell me, oh, look at Jordan Love in Green Bay. He got to sit 3 years behind an all-time legend in Aaron Rodgers. And look how that turned out. But here's the difference. The Packers had a bottom first round pick. It's not like they were picking in the top 8. And you guys have to remember that the Packers regime inherited Aaron Rodgers. It's not like they drafted or signed Aaron Rodgers in free agency. The Atlanta Falcons were the team that just signed Kirk Cousins in free agency. This is a slap to the face of Kirk Cousins. And I feel very bad for Kirk Cousins right now because he didn't deserve to have that happen to him. Look, if Kirk Cousins knew the Atlanta Falcons were going to take a quarterback with the number 8 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, you really think Kirk Cousins goes to the Atlanta Falcons? Because I highly doubt that would have happened. And if I'm Kyle Pitts, I probably can't be too happy with that either, because Kyle Pitts was really excited to play with Kirk Cousins at the quarterback position. But obviously, you drafted Michael Penix Jr. with the number 8 overall pick, and Michael Penix Jr. is now going to ride the bench for a few years, which means that it was a wasted first-round pick. Maybe it eventually works out in their favor, and maybe Kirk Cousins, he plays a solid 3-4 years in Atlanta, and he gives them productive football, and Michael Penix Jr. can kind of come in and do his thing once he becomes the starter for the Atlanta Falcons. But it just seems like an unnecessary risk, particularly when the Atlanta Falcons needed help with an edge rusher. The Atlanta Falcons desperately needed help on the defensive side of the ball, and obviously there was Dallas Turner available there at pick 8. If you're the Atlanta Falcons, you absolutely had to pick Dallas Turner with the number 8 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, because Dallas Turner is going to be one of the better defensive ends in all of football, and he's going to get a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Obviously, the Atlanta Falcons are set on offense. You look at how the Atlanta Falcons, they already have Bijan Robinson, who's one of the best young running backs in the game of football. They've already got Tyler Allgeier, who's a hell of a RB2. And then, of course, you look at the wide receiver position. They already got Drake London, solid wide receiver in there as well. And then you got Darnell Mooney, a guy that I believe is better than what most people give him credit for. And of course, you've got Kyle Pitts, who's one of the best young tight ends in the game of football. Yeah, I know his numbers don't indicate that he is a great tight end, but trust me, when you watch the film, Kyle Pitts is always wide open. And the reason why he has not played good football the last 2 years is because he's had shitty quarterback play at the quarterback position. You're going to look bad when Marcus Mariota and Desmond Desmond Ridder are your quarterbacks. Obviously, Kyle Pitts has been a victim of his circumstance, and Kyle Pitts was going to be so excited to finally have a real quarterback playing at the quarterback position. Look, I'm not saying that you have to love Kirk Cousins or that you have to say that Kirk Cousins is an elite quarterback. I'm not even telling you guys that you guys have to feel good about Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, but you guys have to admit that Kirk Cousins is a top half quarterback in the National Football League, and Kyle Pitts was going to have a career year with Kirk Cousins at the quarterback position. As far as them drafting Michael Penix Jr., the pick virtually makes no sense for the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons right now are already paying Kirk Cousins $180 million. He's already one of the higher paid quarterbacks in the NFL. And obviously, when you draft a quarterback on a rookie contract, you're trying to do that to save money. But the Atlanta Falcons are not even saving money in the quarterback room. If Michael Penix Jr. works out for the Atlanta Falcons, guess what? The Atlanta Falcons are not going to have the benefit of building a quarterback around a rookie contract because they have to spend that money on Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins is already eating up a good amount of that cap space, so they can't build a good team around Michael Penix Jr. if for some reason he ends up working out for the Atlanta Falcons. And obviously, if Michael Penix Jr. doesn't work out for the Atlanta Falcons just wasted a first-round pick on a quarterback that's going to ride the bench and probably is not going to work out at the NFL level. And here's my other problem with this pick as well. I don't even like Michael Penix Jr. I don't think Michael Penix Jr. is as good as what people are advertising him to be. When I watched Michael Penix Jr.'s game, yes, he put up excellent numbers at Washington. I can't deny that. But have you guys seen his medicals? Have you guys seen how injury prone he is? And also, I feel like Michael Penix Jr. is very, 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 very dependent on having a strong O-line around him. When Michael Penix Jr. has just an average offensive line around him, his production dips insanely. You look at that national championship game against Michigan, where he actually had to face pressure for the first time all year. And what happened? Michael Penix Jr. played like an absolute scrub in the national championship game as he was missing routine throws all night long, and that's why they got blown out to Michigan. And all these people were telling me that Michael Penix Jr. was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football and how he was going to expose Michigan's defense. No, what happened was Michigan's defense exposed Michael Penix Jr. You look at how Michael Penix Jr.'s decision-making goes way down when he's under pressure. You look at how he's also not going to have nearly as good receivers at the NFL level as he did at Washington. I thought Michael Penix Jr. had a stacked wide receiver core at Washington. I also thought that his offensive coordinator was really good in there as well. And I thought their offensive line gave him all day to throw the football. Are you kidding me? I could have made some of those throws that Michael Penix Jr. was making for Washington just because of the fact that he had all day to throw the football. He's not going to get that luxury on the Atlanta Falcons. And obviously the Atlanta Falcons, yes, they're loaded on offense with weapons, but he's not going to be playing with them right away. Kirk Cousins is going to be playing quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. And obviously, I feel pretty good about Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. I think Kirk Cousins is going to lead the Atlanta Falcons to some division titles. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be the Dak Prescott of the NFC South. He's basically the white Dak Prescott, where he will lead his teams to win the division. Am I confident Kirk Cousins is going to show up come playoff time? I highly doubt it, but drafting Michael Penix Jr. 8th overall, that's not a solution to the Atlanta Falcons. If you were going to draft a quarterback, then why not just pick J.J. McCarthy with the 8th overall pick? Because J.J. McCarthy is a younger quarterback, and more importantly, J.J. McCarthy is a better quarterback than Michael Penix Jr. I know some people are going to tell me, oh, J.J. McCarthy's stats suck. That means he's a terrible football player. But that couldn't be further from the truth. J.J. McCarthy is actually a pretty good quarterback draft prospect. I'm not saying J.J. McCarthy is elite, but what I am saying about J.J. McCarthy is that he knows how to make the easy throws over the middle of the field, and he knows how to manage a game really well. And on the Atlanta Falcons, that would have been good enough with the core that they have, because they got Bijan Robinson, they've got Tyler Allgeier, they've got Kyle Pitts, they've got Drake London, they've got Darnell Mooney, they've got weapons all over the place. Also, they got Rondale Moore in there as well, so don't forget about him. The Atlanta Falcons right now have a pretty solid offense in general. They're kind of set in there as well. And also, the offensive line is not terrible either for the Atlanta Falcons. It's not great pass protection wise, but run protection wise, they're really good in there as well. And as far as the real reason why Michael Penix Jr. was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't see a good reason why the Atlanta Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr. with the 8th overall pick. I mean, the only reason I could have came up with in my mind was when I was thinking in my bed last night sleeping, and I was thinking, why did the Atlanta Falcons take Michael Penix Jr.? And I'm thinking it's because of the tampering charges that are going to be coming for the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, the Atlanta Falcons, they tampered to get Kirk Cousins in free agency, and they might be losing a first-round pick in the 2025 NFL draft. So maybe the Atlanta Falcons were thinking, okay, let's just get our quarterback quarterback of the future now instead of having to wait till 2026 in order to really address the need. Because if we lose that first round pick in 2025, we're not going to be able to address the quarterback of the future. And obviously, they're saying, let's just grab a quarterback now, worry about everything else later. And we're going to use Kirk Cousins as an expensive bridge. But even if that was the case, why not just sign Russell Wilson in free agency and draft a quarterback with the 8th overall pick? You would have saved a lot more money if you did it that way. Now you just created more problems on the Atlanta Falcons. And Kirk Cousins is going to be one of the most expensive bridge quarterbacks that I'm ever going to see in the history of the NFL. I do think the Atlanta Falcons are going to still win their division, though, because the NFC South is absolutely pathetic, and the Atlanta Falcons are loaded with weapons. I think Kirk Cousins is going to play good football for the Atlanta Falcons this year, but drafting Michael Penix Jr. number 8 overall was a massive mistake by the Atlanta Falcons, because I don't think Michael Penix Jr. is ever going to really see the field, at least not immediately speaking, as we speak. And obviously, the Atlanta Falcons GM, he's talking about how he's going to have to wait 4 or 5 years to enter the field. I got an answer for that, though, because I don't think the Atlanta Falcons GM is going to be here in 4 to 5 years. I'm calling it right now. The Atlanta Falcons general manager is going to get fired 4 years from now as I am talking, and he's not going to last to see the Michael Penix Jr. experiment. He's going to get fired beforehand, but who knows? I'm not a general manager. I'm not the ones calling the shots. I'm just a guy talking at my house, making YouTube videos and making predictions of what I actually believe will happen. So that is why drafting Michael Penix Jr. was clearly a dumb decision by the Falcons, as it made zero sense whatsoever. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Dustin Tran and at Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter at Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.